Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English News from Djibouti channel. Let's begin with the headlines. The main titles are the 41st General Conference of UNESCO held yesterday. In Glasgow, while Africans call be heard was the main questions discussed there. Welcome to our newsroom. Yesterday, during the panel discussion, the theme e-commerce was the order of the day, a challenge and perspective for the development of the African textile industry. The theme of a major important in context where digitalizations of Africa was a challenge. The panelists exchanged their points during those days. But also their experience. Indeed, the growth of e-commerce in Africa is facing obstacles. Too many startups are non-profitable. Entrepreneurs face exceptionally low consumer confidence and e-skills, low internet and purchasing power, and competitive delivery infrastructure, and fragment market and increasing barriers to cross-border electronic payment. With this in mind, the panelists draw up a list of recommendations during the event. The first of foremost, digitalizations, industrializations and legislations and other many issues were discussed. The Minister of Culture, the third theme was also entrepreneurship, innovation and textile. And the entrepreneurship have become increasingly important elements of economic development in almost all African countries. The discussion all converged on the establishment of an ecosystem favorable to the emergence of future entrepreneurs. The evening was marked also by international parades, a fashion show for the general public, an exhibition, a weaving trainer with learning and of technique and tools, and the night of cotton. In addition, the exhibitions of the proposing innovative and many others were exhibited during the night.
Des nouveaux amis, une nouvelle famille. On retrouve toujours l'Afrique dans nos regards. Yelele Africa, oh yelele. Yelele Africa, oh yelele ma. Yelele Africa, oh yelele mama. Yelele Africa, oh yelele. mamwata me. Dollar kalebe, hero kalebe. Mais je garde toujours espoir pour un lendemain. Y'a le bon petit vening d'ondose. Tu sais pas sans pas mais mamwata me. No what to the cup, baya toto, baya bito. No la distance ne tue pas l'amour. Mais je garde toujours espoir pour un lendemain. Y'a le bon petit vening d'ondose. Tu sais pas sans pas mais mamwata me. No what to the cup, baya toto, baya bito. No la distance ne tue pas l'amour.
And during the time, the panel discussion, a theme on e-commerce were discussed, a challenge and perspective of the development of African textile industry. The major theme importance in a context where digitalizations and of Africa are the main challenges. The panelists exchanged their point, but also their experience, which is a vast market for the promotions and valorizations of African textiles, has for several years intended to participate in the economic development of African textile actors.
Numérique qui existe entre les personnes, par exemple en étendant l'accès à des connexions haut débit abordables et de qualité aux régions rurales et mal desservies, en améliorant l'inclusion financière et en renforçant la confiance et l'acquisition de compétences permettant d'utiliser le commerce électronique. Encourager l'utilisation du commerce en ligne parmi les groupes les plus vulnérables, donc par exemple en mettant en place des services de livraison de proximité pour les personnes âgées, en leur réservant des créneaux de livraison particuliers. Veiller à ce que les consommateurs vulnérables soient protégés contre les pratiques commerciales déloyales et les produits dangereux. On en parlait un peu en haut par rapport à la législation. Encourager la création de modèles économiques innovants pour le commerce électronique en veillant à ce que les cadres réglementaires demeurent suffisamment souples pour permettre aux entreprises de combiner activités en ligne et hors ligne. Réduire l'incertitude réglementaire et promouvoir la transparence via la diffusion d'informations. Assurer la participation des petites et moyennes entreprises au commerce en ligne en offrant des incitations politiques, réglementaires ou financières à la diversification des méthodes de vente et en établissant des règles du jeu équitables pour les petites et moyennes entreprises qui utilisent les services de plateformes numériques. Et enfin, réduire les goulots d'étranglement dans l'environnement d'appui au commerce en ligne.
Djibouti, as part of the other countries, also took part of the exhibitions where they presented a different product from the culture, from the various culture of Djibouti. The UNFD will take the advantage of this event to present all the products made by the women in different regions such as Dakhil and other region.
halkuu aanigu ka abuurmayo afrika waaniga iridu waaniga ilbaxnimadiyey yeyey afrika afrika ilaysbaabaxo iftiishii dhukee sita waa aniga agabkaan lahayn adduunka tusee sita waa adiga mama afrika wayuqiliyeene sita waa inaga sita waa inaga sita waa inaga yeyeye aamin baanahay yeyeyeye ammaan baanahay yeyeyeye halkuu aanigu ka abuurmayo afrika waaniga iridu waaniga ilbaxnimadiyey yeyey afrika afrika aamin baanahay yeyeyeye ammaan baanahay yeyeyeye halkuu aanigu ka abuurmayo afrika waaniga iridu waaniga ilbaxnimadiyey yeyey afrika afrika.
The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed, received the Ambassador of Egypt in Djibouti, Mr. Hussam Al-Din. The discussion focused on the way and means to strengthen bilateral relations between the two brotherly and friendly countries. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed, welcomed the new Egyptian diplomat to Djibouti and reiterated his unfailing support throughout his stay. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Douali, participated and presided event over the closing ceremony of the social businesses training organized under the Rising Djibouti project on Thursday 11. The ceremony was organized by the Ministry of Economy and Finance in charge of industry, USAID and UNDP to identify social enterprise that can contribute to the social and economic recovery of COVID-19 and create development opportunities for youth. The main objective of the event was to change the mindset of the young people, inspiring to do businesses, to realize the opportunity to contribute and solve the problems presented by the young people, which are presented a very interesting idea. The people who participated in the phase of training will go throughout the finalizations of the business plan.
Nous voudrions vous donner un commencement, mais pour vulgariser votre idée, pour changer la vie ici à Djibouti, pour assurer que le développement de Djibouti continue, c'est dans votre main. Et quand je vois chaque jour, je vois les jeunes Djiboutiens, et pour nous, quand nous avons l'opportunité pour travailler avec vous, l'histoire de ce projet-là a commencé avec une réunion que j'ai eue avec le ministère de l'Éducation supérieure. Quand j'ai vu l'opportunité, j'ai su immédiatement que cette chose-là, le pottery, ce n'est pas beaucoup de choses qu'on peut faire ici à Djibouti. Mais avec l'agile, on peut faire les belles choses, les beaux choses comme ça à Djibouti.
The representative of UNDP, Mrs. Fatima Al Sheikh, stressed the importance of this meeting.
The idea of Rising Djibouti is that we try to reach with socio-economic recovery to around 5,000 people. And we thought the best way to reach a multiplier is to go through social businesses. Because social business is not for one person, it's a business that should benefit more than one person. I think what was very interesting and inspiring today is that to see even people who had an original business idea only for themselves change their mind and try to think about how the idea can help more people. And that's very critical in social business. I think social business has to be profit making, so it's the same like any business, but it's not profit maximizing. There is two angles to the profit. One is the profit in terms of social gains that you and your community gain. So you have to identify a problem and you solve it. I was very happy to hear about the marketing, but I was also very interested to hear all the ideas. I was more impressed with the gender dimension because I like issues that has to deal with women and our own social norm. I don't consider myself very far from the social norms here. And it's interesting to look at a sports center where a woman can find herself without her family having to worry, or the child also. Finally, I just want to say that change will not happen by an international organization. Change will happen by you as the Djiboutian who wants to rebuild and restructure their country, their economy, their social gains.
The Minister of SPAR, the Minister of Economy, highlighted the importance and the main objective of the training. He said that this training is to change the mindset of young people, inspiring to do their businesses and create their own society. The opportunity is to contribute and solve the problem presented by the young people. He concluded.
petite et moyenne entreprise weyn waxa la oranayo tani aan dareynayno xilligaas imika waa très petite kii weyn qof artisan artistia wax soo saaraya waa keligii waa shirkad uu ka dhigan karaa shirkad intuu ka dhiganayo hobby uu ku raaxaysanayo waxa uu ilaahay maaragtay uu siiyey iyo cilmiga isaga oo gaarka dadkii uga faa'iideyn karaya iyo ka dhiganta Soomaa xilligaas waa taata aan isleenahay imika inaan si xawliya aan haddeeto aan u galno inaan dhalinyar wax la qabanana waan rabnaa inaan bulshadeena wax u qabanana waan rabnaa haddii aan dawlad nahay haddii aan ilaa iyo ka tijaarka ee ilaahay wax siiyey gacantu qaban karaya inta uu adduunya intaa badan oo looga baahan yahayna ma waa dariiqii uu tusiyo waa fikradii uu siiyo waa shan midhidh oo dhigta uu u dhigo inuu dhagaysto ku celiyo wixii uu isaguna ka gartay amba uu ka fahmay taladii uu ugu celiyo wayaan fikrado badan baan aaminsanahay inay ka soo baxayaan waa qaybtii ugu horreysay baan jecelahay dhinaca Djibouti quseynaysa intiina ma waa la soo maray gobolladana waa si aan u wada gaarsiin karno dad xilligaas farxad aniga waxaa ii ahaa gaba fikrado badan oo kala gedisan oo noocyo badan leh amba bulshada si uu u taabsanaya oo faa'iido inninkana nasiinaya ni keenaya meesha dadkii aan ka soo jeednay iyo bulshadii aan ka soo jeednayna u faa'iideynaya bala sal deji majro haweena meel ay jim ku waxyaan ma hayaan dadka baahida gaar kalena meel ay iyaguna ay ku waxyaan sportkooda caafimaadkooda ay ku hayaan ma jirto waa fikrad ka gedisan jimamkii hore garanayna waxaan ku leeyahay hambalyo waa adigiina waad isku fikraysaayo waad fikrad tijaaradeed baad wadataa bulshadiina waxbaad u taraysaa.
The 41st General Conference of UNESCO, organized at UNESCO headquarters in Paris, so the participations of more than 180 countries. The conference will last from November 9 to 27, 2021. The General Conference, a biennial high-level meeting of that will allow the organization to share with the government, delegations, and NGOs representatives the progress made in the field, the impact of the organization decisions, new directions, ongoing changes, and perspectives.
linteeni tubta toosan qaadee horo dhigtay tallaabada
On the sidelines of UNESCO General Conference during the General Policy Debate, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, first congratulated the DG of UNESCO for his brilliant election. In his speech, he expressed his satisfaction with the organizations of the General Conference, which comes at a time when health restrictions arising from the pandemic COVID-19 almost compromised the organizations of the conference in person.
qayrkeed halkuu tegay intiyoy tilmaansatay weliba taa ka sii dheere tan iyo haatan innagoo u wada tugan aanu sacaaba tumanay.
The Chamber of Trade of Djibouti organized a ceremony to launch a new support device for young businesses leaders. It's a program called Start As, designed in collaborations with the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes to support businesses to have no more than 5 years of activity with no more than 10 employees.
Des entreprises de Djibouti. Donc, nous vous invitons bien sûr à y participer. Nous vous invitons aussi à encourager les autres dirigeants à venir à la Chambre de commerce pour découvrir cette offre, cette richesse de l'offre, les compétences qui peuvent vous être mises à disposition. Et l'idée sur ce programme Starter Accompagnement, c'est de sécuriser les premiers mois, les premières années de l'entreprise, dont on sait qu'elles sont toujours critiques et qu'elles sont importantes pour construire des fondations solides en matière d'économie du territoire.
And now let's move on continental news. African negotiators at the UN Climate Conference in Glasgow called on polluting countries to keep their financial promises and reduce their carbon emissions. CO2 emitting countries have not kept their promise to provide 1 billion a year in financial support announced at the Copenhagen conference. At this conference in Scotland, African countries are calling for a reassessment of the Copenhagen Pledge, a pledge that does not been kept. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.